Well, welcome back to Ottoman Asia, Cambodian style. You haven't heard that in a while, huh? Okay, hey, this is not going to be your standard pros and cons type of a video of being over here in Cambodia. This is after living here for 3.5 years. This is my personal pros and cons. What I think is kind of important, good and bad. I want to start out with friends, okay? Local friends, the Khmer people. We've talked a lot about the Khmer people. They're really nice, hospitable, and they are, and they make some great friends. I mean, getting away from, the work situation, if you meet them at, like at the store or whatever, and you get invited for dinner, or, you get out of that you can learn a lot about the culture, by what they're doing, how they do it, how they live, and it's an eye opener instead of just kind of hanging around your apartment all the time. You get to meet the local people, and the kind of neat thing about meeting local people is you get to meet more local people. And they make great friends. They love to invite you over to, like, hey, we're going to have a party, we're going to have a get together, and they absolutely love to invite you to weddings. So if you ever get a chance to go to a wedding, they're a lot of fun. Um, so I just wanted that was the pros, of course, and the cons. Well, language barrier. Yeah, sometimes you have to pull out the old Google Translate and kind of translate to keep the conversation going or understanding that. But even so, understanding they may have a really good vocabulary. They know how to speak English very well, or they know the words, but their accent will be so strong that it's really difficult to discern certain words. It's just understanding, and you're going like, oh, okay, you got to think about it. And what are they asking me? What are they telling me? Am I really getting this correct or not? And that's a lot of mental work. I have a couple of friends that they know a lot of the words, but when they, what's that? What's that? Oh, that, And after about an hour or so sometimes, that's a lot of mental work, and you just get drained mentally, emotionally, and physically. You go home and you got, oh man, my brain is freaking jelloed. So, that's definitely a con. And sometimes they just may ask you for a little bit too much. I won't go into that too much either, but yeah, if you can help out, you help out, but just be careful with that. Now, like Barong, which are foreigners and tourist expats, of course, they also make great friends. You can go out and do things together, and not just stay in with your Khmer friends. You got a kind of diversified there. You can hang out, and it's nice, especially if they're from your home country. You can talk about home. Hey, you just got back. Well, what was it like? What are they thinking about this? Kind of get to both perspectives of the world on how they think about it here, and how they think about things. Back in the States or Canada or UK or Australia or wherever you're from. Okay, so those are the pros of good friends. Now the cons, I only have really one con about that, other than sometimes you might drink a few more beverages of your choice, but that could be a pro too. But the biggest con is lots of times they leave. Sometimes they're only here for 4 or 5 months, 6 months at a time. You make some great friends. You hang out. You're doing all kinds of stuff. You're really close to them. And of course, they got their life back home. Maybe they're just here for a couple of months or whatever, or they were going to go to another country and travel more. And I just had that happen the last couple of months twice, and some really, really good friends. And that's very difficult. And that's yeah, they're the friends are a con, but when they leave, it's kind of sucks. And the next thing, now you all know that I'm not a foodie because of my issues that I have with my stomach, but we'll talk about that anyways. The local food is inexpensive. That's a pro. If you learn to uh, shop at the wet markets, and a few words on how to shop at wet markets, know the prices and stuff, it can be very inexpensive. And or if you have somebody, a Khmer friend, that helps you doing your shopping, that's very helpful too. Now the food is like very, very healthy. It's not processed. Most of it's not processed, and it's very fresh. The meats, chicken, poultry, things like that. Poultry is chicken. The pork and all that. It was probably mooing or making noise a day or two ago, and it's not been processed, sit in a processing plant and packaged up in plastic, and you don't really know how fresh it is. But here it's fresh. Same with the vegetables. It might have been picked 2-3 days ago, and it's enjoyable to get it that fresh. But now some of the cons on it is, for me, of course, there's a lot of it that I can't eat. I try, I taste and see how my stomach is doing with it or whatever. And also another con of it is, the food is very foreign, and your body's not really used to sometimes a lot of this foreign food, and you want to eat it, and it kind of doesn't sit well in your stomach or whatever. And also, you may not know what it is. I mean, I looked, when the first time I got here, I went into the local wet market and I walked around, and the fruits and vegetables, I mean, I only knew a small portion of what that is. Oh, that's a potato, that's a carrot, that's an onion. But there's so much more, and you don't know, what is it, how it tastes, if you're gonna like it or whatever. So that's kind of a con there. Now, Western food. Now, the pros on that is it's definitely comfort food. Sometimes you want to get your favorite can of this, or a box of that. Your spaghetti noodles or something. So that's kind of nice. And another pro about that is there's several Western stores here in town that you can get your things that you need, and that's always nice to have some home cooked meal if you like to cook for yourself. I like to make some homemade beef stew every once in a while, and also my spaghetti. So it's nice to have that instead of the Khmer food all the time. Now, the cons of the food here is, well, it's very expensive, and some things are not so expensive, but other things, they got to be shipped in. I mean, of course, they're going to be costing a bit more. And a big con for me is availability. Sometimes 3, 4, 5 months, you'll have, like, for instance, tortillas. I love tortillas. And they'll have the tortillas in the store all the time, and then all of a sudden they're gone, and you won't see them for 2-3 months. It's the availability is really willy-nilly sometimes on a lot of things. Macaroni cheese, I love macaroni cheese, and sometimes it's not there, and so that's just a few things on the food. Now, this next thing I want to talk about is pastime, my pastime. Now, you got to remember, all these are my pros and cons of pastime, which is basically my hobby. I spend a lot of time with my hobby, which is being a YouTuber. Hey, hi. Now, the pros is it keeps me active. It gives me something to do. Keeps me out of the bars. But it does give me something to do, and give me a little structure in my life. Because, for a while here, when I was here, I really didn't have structure, and I really started getting serious about making videos, and that helped me a lot. It also keeps, my brain stimulated, because, I mean, I'm just not watching reruns of Fred Flintstone or something, and also, getting out, you get to see new places, new things, which is nice. Get to explore a bit more the way I do. I explore. Unfortunately, I haven't been doing a lot of traveling, but you also meet a lot of people. When you go out and wherever you're at, you have the opportunity, I should say, of meeting more people. And also, one of the pros is, the last pro I've got is, it makes me a little bit of money. I'm not getting rich from it, but hey, that helps. Now, the cons of it is, after 3.5 years, and a lot of that not traveling like I wanted to, and just making videos of here in Siem Reap, and talking about how to get here, this and that, the cultures and things like that. After a while, you kind of run out of ideas. I mean, you can reinvent some of your old videos and stuff. But it's new ideas, especially if you're a solo YouTuber. You don't have anybody to brain dump with, and hey, let's what give me a hand here. What do you think? So that's definitely a con. And another con is too much time on the computer. Gives me headaches, and that's part of my hobby. If I was doing my other hobby, I would still be sitting at a table and not too active. So, but that's a con there. And another one is researching and editing. That can be a con and a pro, because I do like researching and learning new things, but it's a lot of work in front of the computer. Like I said, the last thing I mentioned, a lot of time in front of the computer. And editing can take me sometimes a day or two to edit a video if it's really B-roll intensive or something. But I like doing that, so that's both a pro and a con. Now another thing is the town. The pro about the town here is I find it very comfortable, because I've been around for a while, and it's only approximately 140,000 people in this town. I've mentioned many times it's not growing up with big skyscrapers or anything, because it's against the law, but grows out. So it's a pretty nice town. It's got everything that you really need, or at least everything that I need here. And if not, well, I might have to go to Bangkok or something, whatever. And I know where a lot of the things are at. It's not like when I first got here, oh, where's this at? Where's that at? Oh God, I got to ask everybody. And now everybody's asking me, and that's fine too. But it's nice to, okay, I'm going to go here first, and then there, and I'll come back home, and my shopping's done or whatever. And also, the people know me here, which is and I'm not talking about my friends or my expats friends. I'm talking about, like, let's say when I go to the hospital, they don't even ask me for my passport anymore. They have it on file. Or the people that work at the store, the mom and pop. So, hey, hi Kelly, how you doing? People that I go, the cafes I go to quite often, I have a cup of coffee or dai by dong in the morning. They all know what I want, and I just look at them, smile, and they start making up what I need. Now, I kind of only have one con about that, and that's being so familiar with everything that goes, that's going around in town, where things are at. The wow factor is gone. I first got here and go, oh wow, that's really cool. Oh, check out that kind of house. Oh, oh yeah. Now it's like for instance, I'm walking down with a new friend that just got into town or something. They've never been here, and they see a couple of cows walking down the middle of the road, and hey, wow, what are those cows doing in the middle of the road? Yeah, you might see them back in their home country, going down a country road or whatever. But I'm talking about like frickin' downtown. That's I'm going, oh yeah, they're just cows. So the wow factor is gone. So that's my personal pros and cons of living here for 3.5 years in Siem Reap, Cambodia. And once again, if you're still here, you are my #1 fans. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.